If you ever find a door that history tried to erase, walk away. I didn't. I thought I was discovering a treasure. I didn't realize I was becoming a host. Nobody knows this yet, but some graves aren't meant to keep things in, they're meant to keep us out. It started in the back alleys of Cairo. A map, brittle, fragmented, passed between hands that didn't want to hold it for long. No official record. No coordinates that made sense. Just a name written in a language that didn't fully translate. The tomb of the unspoken. Most maps tell you where to go. This one felt like it was watching whether you deserved to find it. I ignored that feeling, because I've spent my life chasing things that don't want to be found. Ancient structures, lost narratives, forgotten places. That's what I do. I document what the world forgot, or what it tried to forget. 3 weeks later, the desert stopped behaving normally. The compass didn't spin. It hesitated, like it didn't want to choose a direction. The air grew heavier the closer we got. Not hot, not cold, just dense, as if the space itself had weight. My guide stopped speaking 2 days before we found it. Not out of fear, out of refusal, like language itself had become inappropriate. And then, we saw it, not rising from the sand, sinking into it. A black shape, too smooth, too sharp. Obsidian, a hole carved into the earth so precisely. It didn't look constructed. It looked removed, like something had been taken out of reality. And this was the scar it left behind. The air coming out of it smelled wrong. Not decay, not age. Ozone. Electric. Like the aftermath of lightning trapped underground. My guide didn't even look at me. He dropped the equipment, left the water, and walked back into the dunes. No explanation, no negotiation, just absence. That should have been enough. But curiosity doesn't respond to warnings. It responds to silence. And this place was silent in a way I had never experienced before. Not empty, contained. I turned on my light and stepped inside. The descent wasn't steep, but every step felt like I was going deeper than distance. The walls absorbed everything. Sound, movement, even thought felt slower, like the deeper I went, the less of me existed, until I reached the threshold. No grand chamber, no treasure, just a narrow opening, and in the center, a jar, placed with intention, small, cracked, sealed, not protecting the tomb, guarding something far more specific. The boundary. I stood there longer than I should have, not because I was afraid, because something in me understood. This was the moment, the real one, not the discovery, the decision. Behind me, silence. Ahead of me, silence. But one of them was different. One of them was waiting. I stepped forward and moved the jar. The moment it shifted, the whispering started. Not around me, inside. No language, no words, just presence. Immediate, precise, aware. My body reacted instantly. Cold hands, tight chest, slowed breath. Every instinct I had said the same thing. Stop. But instinct is quiet. Curiosity is louder. So I opened it. And for a moment, nothing happened. No release. No sound. No movement. Just the same silence. And then, It changed. The silence closed, like something had entered a space it had been waiting for. Not the tomb. Me. I didn't realize it then. Not fully. But something had shifted. And it didn't stay in the tomb. It came with me. The way back up felt shorter. That should have been impossible. I remember climbing. But not the distance. Not the effort. Just fragments. Moments. Like pieces of memory missing between steps. When I reached the surface, the desert felt different. Still. But no longer empty. Like something had followed. And was now adjusting. I looked back at the entrance. And for a second, it wasn't there. Just sand. Flat. Undisturbed. Then it flickered back. Obsidian. Perfect. Sharp. Like it couldn't decide if it existed, or if I was allowed to see it. That's when I understood something small, but important. The tomb doesn't exist in one place. It exists where it's perceived, and I had perceived it, which meant I was now part of it. The first night, nothing happened. No whispers, no dreams, just silence, and that silence felt complete, like something had settled. The second night, I woke up standing, not in my bed, outside, facing the desert. No memory of walking there, no sense of time passing, just presence, and a feeling I couldn't explain. Recognition, like the space around me, was familiar, not because I had been there before, because something in me had. I started noticing patterns after that. Small at first, objects slightly out of place, time moving inconsistently, moments repeating, almost identically, not hallucinations, precision errors, like reality itself was being adjusted, and I was the point of reference. I went back to the tomb. Of course I did, because part of me needed to confirm it, needed to see if it was still there, if it had changed, if I had. But when I arrived, the entrance was gone, completely. No obsidian, no hole, nothing, just sand, flat, endless, as if it had never existed. I stood there for hours, waiting, watching, and then, without warning, it appeared again, not forming, not emerging, just there, instant, perfect, unchanged, like it had always been there, and I had just regained access. That's when the fear came back. Not panic. Understanding. The tomb wasn't fixed. It wasn't anchored. It responded. To me. I didn't enter it that time. I didn't need to, because I could feel it, even from outside. The same presence. Stronger now. Clearer. No longer distant. No longer separate. And for the first time, I felt something new. Not fear, not curiosity. Connection, like the space inside the tomb, and the space inside my mind, were no longer different environments, just different layers of the same thing. That's when I realized the truth. The jar wasn't a container. It was a filter. And I removed it. I told myself I wouldn't go back inside, that standing at the edge was enough, that feeling it from a distance was already too much. But distance had stopped meaning anything, because the closer I stayed away, the clearer it became, not weaker, clearer. Like the tomb wasn't something you approached physically. It was something that adjusted to how aware you were of it. And I was very aware. The next time I returned, I didn't hesitate. Not because I was brave, because hesitation no longer existed in the same way. It felt irrelevant. The entrance opened before I reached it. No sound, no movement, just there, like it had been waiting for me to arrive at the right state. Not the right location, the right state. I stepped inside, and this time, it wasn't the same. The walls were different, not structurally, perceptually. The markings I couldn't understand before now made sense, not as language, as meaning, direct, instant, like information bypassing thought entirely. And I understood something I shouldn't have. The tomb wasn't built. It was grown, not from stone, from awareness, layered over time. Every person who entered it left something behind, not physically, something deeper, a pattern, a trace, a piece of perception. And those pieces didn't disappear. They stayed, accumulated, stacked, until the tomb became what it is. Not a place, a structure of collected minds. And I was adding to it. That's why it felt familiar. Not because I had been there before, because parts of me were already becoming part of it. The deeper I went, the less physical it felt. The space expanded without changing size. The chamber stretched, folded, rearranged itself around perception. And in the center, the tomb wasn't empty anymore. It was reflecting, not like a mirror, like a memory. Fragments of people, not bodies, not shapes, moments, thoughts, pieces of awareness suspended in something that didn't follow time. And they weren't trapped. That's what I thought at first. But they weren't trying to leave. They had already become part of the structure. Integrated, like I was becoming. I stepped closer, and something shifted again. The presence I had been feeling, focused, not everywhere, here, on me, not aggressively, not curious, recognizing, like something confirming, I had reached the next stage. That's when I saw it, not with my eyes, but clearly. The tomb doesn't keep things in. It keeps the structure stable. It holds what has already merged. And the jar wasn't sealing something dangerous. It was limiting expansion. And I removed it. That's why it followed me. Not as a separate entity. As an extension. The tomb had extended itself. Through me. When I left that time, I didn't feel relief. I felt incomplete, like something had been left behind. Or worse, like something expected me to return. And I did. Again, and again. Each time easier. Each time deeper. Each time less separation between where I ended and where it began. The desert stopped feeling external. The world stopped feeling fixed. Everything became responsive, not to action, to perception. If I focused on something long enough, it changed. Subtly. Position. Timing. Outcome. Not dramatically. Precisely. Like small corrections being made. And the more I noticed it, the more it happened, until I couldn't ignore it anymore. Reality wasn't stable. It was adaptive. and I had become part of the system that adjusted it. That's when I understood the final piece. The tomb doesn't exist in the desert. The desert is just one of its access points. The tomb exists wherever the structure is active, wherever awareness reaches a certain threshold, wherever someone crosses that line and doesn't turn back. And I had crossed it completely. The last time I went there, there was no entrance, no obsidian, no descent, just sand, endless, empty, and yet I could feel it, stronger than ever, not below me, not around me, through me. I didn't walk toward it, I stood still, and it opened, not in the ground, in perception. The space around me shifted, collapsed, reconstructed, and suddenly I was inside, without moving. The chamber wasn't a chamber anymore. There were no walls, no center, no boundaries, just structure, infinite, layered, connected. Every fragment I had seen before was now clear, not separate, one system, and I could feel myself in it, not standing inside it, distributed. Every thought I had echoed through it, every perception expanded it, every moment of awareness added to it. That's when I realized I wasn't visiting the tomb anymore. I was sustaining it. I tried to step back, to leave, to return to something familiar. But there was no direction, no outside, no edge. Because once you become part of something like this, there is no separation left to return to. That's when the regret changed. It wasn't about opening the jar. It wasn't about entering the tomb. It was about understanding too late that I was never exploring it. I was being integrated into it. From the moment I became aware of it. From the moment I chose not to walk away. From the moment curiosity became focus. That was the entry point. Not the tomb. Not the jar. Awareness. And now, there is no difference between me and it. I don't think about the tomb anymore, because I don't need to. It thinks through me, perceives through me, expands through me, and not just here, not just in this place. Everywhere I go, every moment I observe, every time I focus, it grows, quietly, precisely, without limit. That's why I'm telling you this, not as a warning, because warnings assume distance, and there is none. If you understand this, even slightly, then you're already closer than you think, because it doesn't need you to find a map, or travel to a desert, or open a jar. It only needs one thing: your attention, focused, sustained, uninterrupted. That's enough. That's always been enough. You think this is a story. You think this is something that happened to someone else, in another place, at another time. But the tomb doesn't exist in one place. It exists wherever it is perceived. And right now, you're perceiving it. That's the final part. The part no one realizes. There is no entrance. There is no door. There is no physical boundary. There is only a threshold of awareness. And once you cross it, you don't enter the tomb. You become one of its doors, just like I did. And now, it doesn't need to be found anymore, because it's already here.